everybody, it's Christina at Scrapcraft and Stitchery, and the other day I made a whole bunch of paper beads, and I'm back today to show you what we can do with these. So I have a video out and I can link that in the description below, but I made these fabulous paper beads and I had a whole bunch of brochures, and these are mainly travel brochures, but you could do this. I mean, some of these are from like magazines. You can do this with magazine pages, you can do this with book pages, you can do this with like so many things, and these are so cool. And there's different ways to make these, and you can get a lot of different shapes and fun things. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing with these. First of all, I have some just regular, these are not paper beads, these are some beads I have, and I made these bead people a couple of years ago, and they're just really kind of cute, and they look really fun dangling on your spine, the spine of your journal. They're kind of a little bit heavy. So I was thinking that the paper bead people might be, if you made people out of the paper beads, they might be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to show you how to make paper bead people. It's super fun. And also just a very basic idea of making these other dangles where, so here's a paper bead people that I have made, and she's got wire. And she's got a little skirt, and she's just super cute. And I have her hanging on my journal. And then on this other side, I have these other bead accessories that I've made. And this is easy. These are just, each one's on a bulb pin. And I've hung it on a jump ring and some ribbon. And it's cool. So I'm going to make some of those first. And then I'll show you how I made this bead person, and she is just very fun. And you can do a lot of different things with these paper beads, but and it's a great way to use up scraps and extra book pages and magazine pages. And these dangles are super easy and fun. So I'll show you how to do that, and it's not anything super complicated here, but all I did for this is I'm just taking a piece of ribbon that might match and go with I didn't even look at those. I thought this was kind of a fun ribbon, especially since a lot of these beads are kind of green. So you can make a very monochromatic green one. Because I had a lot of really green kind of army colored maps. So I'm just going to kind of get enough of this, and you want to have a piece of ribbon or thread that's kind of bulky, because I want this to not slide off when I make a knot in the bottom of this. And the bores on some of these beads are kind of big. Some of them are kind of like really big. There's different ways you can do this, but I want to do this pretty simple and easy. So I have, this is a jump ring, and this is kind of a large jump ring. And I am just going to take my ribbon and loop it. So I have two lengths here, and this is the top part, and I'm going to put that loop through here, and then I'm just going to pull the other two ends of this through there to attach this to my jump ring. And this is a great way to use up if you have ribbon in your stash and you have paper in your stash. You can definitely use some of this up. So there's that, and it's already kind of bulky right there, but I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick overhand knot at the top of this. Well, for these, I did an overhand knot at the top. So I'll just show you that. So I'm going to do an overhand knot at the top. And I mean, this is really just kind of to make this look. And I'm going to try and move that before I tighten it, before it's all loose. This thread is super, super green and super, super bulky, isn't it? Oh my gosh, it's huge. And just gonna try and pull that all the way up to the top as much as I possibly can. I want to get close, as close to the jump ring as I can get it to go before I pull it tight. There we go. So I have, just to recap quickly, a piece of furry. You want to pick a ribbon for this that's a little bit. So for this, I've chosen a ribbon that's a little bit thicker so that hopefully the bead's going to stay on here. And this one's very furry and it should make a nice big fine knot. And I've put, just kind of looped this onto a jump ring, and I've tied a knot and I've moved that up. And there's a bit of a space here where there is no knot, but there's a knot here. And so now I am going to, and I'm going to use one of my beading ribbons for this. These beading needles are kind of cool. If I can grab one. Okay. And so it's just like metal, and it's like the whole thing is the eye of the needle. And so this just makes it a little bit easier. And I don't know if you can see that, but it is, there you go. It's just two pieces of metal like looped together in a closed circuit. And this is gonna help us to do this. So I can just easily stick the ends of my thread through here. Okay, like that. And then I just need to pick a bead that I want to use on here. And I'm gonna, so one thing to consider is that some of these have very large holes because I've let them unwind when I rolled them onto a skewer. I've kind of let them unwind a little bit to make them very fat. And the only problem with this is that this is not going to stay on here. So I'm going to have to find another way to thread that. So I'm not going to use these very, very big ones. These ones have very large center holes. So I'm going to get one that has a medium or small center hole because I'm going to tie a knot at the bottom of this. This is a very simple process. I'm going to tie a knot at the bottom of this, and I want it to stick, to stay on there. This one's kind of a little bit shorter, and I think that this will look cool with this very furry thread. So I can see already, because this is the bead at the center at the top. Oh, that one's still a little bit too big. Let me find one of the ones that I wrapped really tight on that skewer. So now that I have this, and I've just put this thread through this ribbon, or thread, or whatever you want to call this, I put it through the eye of my needle, and I have a lot of different sized beads, and I'm picking this one because it's very green, and I'm going to do a very monochromatic. This has also got a really tight, small hole, and I just want to, at the end of this, tie a knot. And so I want to choose one of the ones that have a very small hole for this, in this center hole, so that when I tie the knot, it's going to hold that bead in place, because I'm not going to do, and I'll show you on the bead people, we'll use some of the bigger ones, and I'm going to use a button to hold those on at the end. So it won't matter as much like what size the hole is. But for this, if you just want to use the ribbon and make a simple knot. Trying to get that off of there to hold this on. And you could do other things too. You could put another bead on there. Could be kind of fun. I got these ones out, so maybe we'll make one and try and put some of these beads on here. I think that would look cool. These would look fun, these red beads with this like furry red ribbon. They would look fun. And I'm just pulling things out of my stash, and you can just use what you have too to make this work. And tying that knot, and again I'm trying to get that knot to come all the way up to the base of my bead, and then that's that. And then the only thing that I've done, and you can trim this off as long or as short as you want this. If you want it to kind of dangle about, you can have it dangling about. And then I have just slipped this like slipped this jump ring that we used at the top onto a bolt pin. And you can use like a lot of different, you could put this on a lobster clasp or whatever you want to do. And there you go. That is another one. And then I have this punch out because to attach this to my journal, you can either just do that, but what I've done is I have taken and made a punch, because I have a punch, but you could cut this out from a template if you want to get one off of line, or a lot of DigiKits have things like this in there. But you could also just cut a rectangle and use a tab and do a very similar thing. You don't have to have a fancy punch for this at all, by any means. But that's what I've done for this one, so that's what I'm going to do for the next one. This looks so good inked. Okay, so I have inked my stamp, and I just want to find a place in my book where I think this is going to really be able to hold up. And I'm just going to attach this. I'm going to glue this onto my book. I am going to use my glue stick. You can use your favorite glue stick. I am using this Scotch permanent glue stick. What is your favorite glue stick? What would you use for this? I'd be very interested to know, because I feel like this is really expensive. It has gotten ridiculously expensive to purchase this. So, kind of always on the hunt for a new glue stick. Okay, so now I think I like this here, and I didn't really look on the back, but I decided I liked it here. So I like to line this up so that where this bends out and then goes back down is flush here with the edge of the paper. And it makes a fantastic tag. Tab. Oh, wait. There it is on that side, and there it is on that side. Okay. And I've lined it up here too so that it's kind of in line with this one in the back. And I didn't start at the front, I'm starting at the back and moving forward, but that's, you know, fine. You could plan all of this out in advance, but I'm just kind of going one. I idea at a time here because I am. Okay, so I'm going to make a hole punch here. I'm going to put an eyelet in there from my handy dandy box of eyelets. I did get almost everything I need out before I started this adventure. And you can make all of these the same, or you could mix and match, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to get this one just because I've used the silver one on the one in the back. And after this, we will be committed. And here we go. We will thread that through and just squeeze down and make sure that that looks, oh, fantastic. That looks so good. Okay. And then you can just put your bead straight through there. And that is one way that you can use these. And I think it would be fun to hang a whole bunch of these on one like bulb pin. That could be fun. You can play around with it however you want. But then you have dangles on your tabs on the side of your journal. Just starting to get really fun. Look at that. And the other thing I wanted to show you, and they're fun if you just want to use up different ribbons and things. It's just really a fun way to go. Now this, I like making the little people with wire, and this one I used wire and some embroidery thread, and it's just super cute. And they kind of dangle, and you can kind of play with them and they dance. And she's got a little skirt like a ballerina, so we'll make one of those next. So I have all of these different colors of, and these are just little spools of wire for doing beads and things like that. And these are kind of cool and fun. And it's going to give our little bead people just a little bit of, well, it'll allow us to flex the little bead people. So I do have out here too, just some really basic jewelry making pliers. I have a kit of these that I bought a while back. Which is very, very handy, and I'm just going to cut a length off of this. This is probably about 12 inches, and then I'm going to cut this in half. So you want like two pieces that are probably 6 to 8 inches a piece, and it really is just going to depend on the length of your beads. And actually, I mean, if you wanted to be really exact, I'm just kind of eyeballing this, and I might wind up with a little bit more than I needed. But you do need less for the arms and then more for the legs. And you could double these up as well, because I have had these break before, which is kind of a bummer, but, you know. So I have my wire, and I have two, you know, like I said, two 6 to 8 inch pieces, and I'm just going to thread these through the, and I have another jump ring, and these are really big jump rings. You could use a smaller one. These are just what I have, and that's what I'm using. Also, I feel like they're easier for you to see, so there's that. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna just kind of bring these all 4 of these ends together after I've brought it through here. And this is where maybe I want to get my wire, or maybe I can just twist this. I'm going to give it 2 or 3 good twists, and that's just to attach these wires to the jump ring and bring them all together. That's great. And now we are ready to start beading, and we can decide what we want to do. And you can have a lot of fun playing around with whatever beads and things you want to do. I also, this is out of some sort of a kit that I've had for a while, and there's actually a piece here that could be kind of fun to use. I have lots of beads that I got through beading kits, and I haven't really used them. I do feel like you could probably put your wires through there and then close this, and that would be like its own little attachment. But anyway, you can do a lot of fun things, and I have a lot of beads and whatnot that I have collected, and I think it might be kind of fun to use some of these as bits and pieces of my person. So this is going to be the top, so it's going to be, the head is going to go up here, but before I put the head on, maybe I want to put this bead on here. And this is pretty easy to do if you're only, I'm just going to use the wires on this one. I did use the wires on the ones I made before. The other one that I made that I showed you, I used wires, and I also used some thread, and that just kind of makes it a little more interesting, a little more decorative. But this one I'm going to keep it pretty simple here tonight. And you can play around and just kind of have a lot of fun with these. And I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to kind of say that maybe this is going to be hair coming out of the top of her head. Maybe she has kind of a messy bun coming up out of the top of her head. That's what I'm going to say is going on here. And then you're just going to kind of, I'm going to look through here, and I'm going to find something that I think will make a nice head for my little doll that I'm making here. These are so much fun to make. I mean, I just love letting my imagination kind of go and seeing what I have and what I can like put on here to make a little fun paper doll out of these paper beads. So there we go. Do we like that? I'm not sure. Okay. Kind of early. It's kind of early days here. I was thinking that like one of these other little disc-shaped beads might make kind of a neat little collar. So I'm going to put that on. And then, so now we have the head, and we kind of have some hair, and that's happening. So now we want to put on the arms. So I'm going to look here, and I'm going to find 2 of these are a little bit shorter than the other 2. 2 of them are shorter and 2 of them are longer. And I'm going to just kind of make these 2 shorter ones into arms. And that's what I'm going to do. So now I need to think about, you could do, so like with these, I have done a lot of different beads, and so these are kind of like these bigger beads that I have on here I kind of think of as elbows, and I mean, and then these straighter parts are like, you know, the upper arm and the lower arm, and then she's got a bracelet in her hand. And on these, the other one that I made, I just made one arm. And I think that might be kind of what I do with this is, so what I did was before I'd done that one, I had actually gone through and found two beads that were similar for the arms and two beads that were similar in length and size and a little bit longer for the legs. But I thought it might be kind of fun to just grab random beads too. And I'm not as worried. Like before, remember, I was kind of concerned about having beads with smaller holes. And I'm going to do something different at the ends of these. So it doesn't really matter if they're quite the same, or it doesn't really matter if I use, like for the body, I'm probably going to use kind of a wide bead. So that it has a little bit more, it's a little bit wider bead. Okay, I think these two are going to be fantastic because they're they really do look very similar. One's a little bit longer and one's a little bit shorter, but they're kind of the same color, and we might think about using, I really like these. These look really cool. This must have been the same paper, I think. These just look really good. So I'm going to put that on. That is kind of a big piece. Maybe we'll save those for the legs. I don't know. Do we have any smaller beads? That's smaller. Sorry, I did not think about this earlier. I'm going to put that one on. Maybe we'll do the legs first. I don't think it really matters. I think I have legs. That's why I'm going to do legs first. So now I'm going to put the body on. I kind of have a little bit bigger barrel of a body here. Okay, great. Now I want to give her a skirt. So I'm going to find a big button. This project is kind of fun because I am using up some things that, like, I just really don't use buttons very often, but I think, and I've put one of the legs through each of the two holes in this 2-hole button, and I think these make adorable skirts for our little bead person. I hope that I have enough to make the legs here. So she might have kind of a little bit short on the legs. So let's think about that. We might need to replace this with a shorter piece. So maybe more like 8 or 9 inches. And I'm gonna put that through there. That's her one leg. Okay. And so now I used these 2-hole buttons for my other one, for her feet. But so what I did was I just went in and then back out, and then I made like a little curly Q at the end. But I think for her hands and feet, I am gonna use these buttons that have, oh gosh, this probably has a name and I don't know what it's called right off hand. I'm gonna use this as her little bait, And oh my, that has a little piece of thread already in there. Oh, it came right out. Good. I'm gonna thread this right on there, and this is gonna, like, where it goes through at the back of the, this is just a button, and it's got the little back of the button on here, and they're kind of a little pearly button, and I think they make cute little feet. And so what I like to do is I'm gonna make a little bit, I have this jewelry making plier, and you can see it's got here where it's got a little groove in here, and then this is round. And so you can take this wire and close it up and just twist it around, and it'll make a little curly Q shape. When we do that, I want to go all the way up to this button, and it's kind of a fun little shape. And I'm going to keep going, and it's pulling all of that wire tight. I did not have enough wire for this, so keep in mind it is probably better to lay your beads out and kind of guess how much you need rather than to just cut it based on what you think you need off the top of your head like I did. But if you know, okay. So I have made, and hopefully you can see this, it's a little curly Q there, and then there's kind of this sharp little piece of wire, and that little sharp piece of wire I'm going to poke back into the top of my bead. And I'm just going to use the pliers to take that, and that's so you don't want to have like just sharp pokey wire coming out. And also then I'm going to take and hopefully try and shape this so that the end of my button kind of goes back into the bead as well and plugs that hole a little bit so it looks like a little shoe. A little foot and a little shoe, and you have just a little tiny bit of this curly Q wire at the top, which is kind of a cute little detail, and I can't get it to quite focus on it, but there it is. Okay, so now we have one leg, and she is coming along, and I am actually really liking her style at this point with her little, you know, bun or hat up there that's red, and her this skirt is just adorable. And so let's do the second leg, and you can match these as much as you want. And I don't know, I'm not matching too much, I don't think. But basically you just do the other foot, same exact way, and then the arms are basically also the same way. For the other one, I did use these buttons that have 2 holes, and I just went out and then went back in and did the curly Q at the top. Same exact thing. This one, the wire is a little bit closer, and I might not have, honestly, enough room. Somebody gave me those beads, and I wonder if they had actually gone and cut them off of a sweater or a blouse. This might have been like a little baby's cardigan, because there is yarn in these, and I feel like they were already part of some garment, which is fabulous. I love that so much more than, you know, having them been. Okay. We lost our leg. Oh no, we've lost our leg. Okay. So, did we put the little bit longer bead over here? Yes, I think we did. Okay, well that's fine. We're gonna make this work. Again, this is a little bit shorter. I didn't have quite enough wire. So I don't know how many times I'm going to get to go around here, but maybe I will. Uh-oh. I hope I have enough. I just hope I have enough. I'm about to lose my bead, my button. Oh, my buttons. Oh, my stars and buttons. I do think that there is a little bit of forgiveness here. Because maybe there is. Maybe there's not. We do have to, this is a pretty fine gauge wire that I'm working with, and so I have had it break, and in which case you have to start all over. Also, maybe one of the reasons why you want to use the use a little bit thicker wire might work. Okay, so that one I think is there. Okay, I have it tucked back in, and there's that. And now we just have to do the arms, and the arms are, I mean, you can do the arms in the exact same way as you're doing the legs. It might be kind of fun at this point to mix in and add beads for, and do beads for the arms, so you can get a little bit more motion in the arms, because if you use smaller beads, of course you can make the arms do more expressive things, because with the legs like this, it's kind of like, I mean, there you go. You don't have any articulation in the legs. Now you could use two smaller beads, paper beads as well. You could mix and match and add more beads like we've done here for the hat and collar. Just whatever you want to do. Like here I have some actually very small beads. I don't know if I have enough to make like a whole arm. But you could use these very smaller beads. But I'm just going to go ahead and use these same beads, so I have like arms that are like this, which is kind of fun too. Lots of fun building these dolls and giving them lots of different characters and fun things. What are we doing? Let's just use these ones that we already have here, because these ones match really well with the body, so maybe it looks like she's wearing a specific shirt. And that's a way to go for this. And I'm going to use that bead for that arm. I'm going to turn it around so it's a little bit, this bead is smaller down here and wider up here, and I think that maybe that looks like a bicep. Let's put it back. Playing around. So I think that looks like a bicep. That looks like the end of the arm. And then, I mean, you can do so many fun things. You can use the buttons as hands again. And so what I did with these buttons is, I'm going to use this color just because I have a lot of this color, not a lot of the other color. So So I'm going to thread that on through one hole, and this has 2 holes, and I'm going to thread this on there, and now I want to pull this all the way down to here, back down to the bead, so everything's super nice and tight. I don't want to leave it too loose. Okay. So I've gone a couple of rounds, and I have again that sharp bit, and if you have more, you can like kind of tuck more of this. On the other doll that I made, I did tuck in all the way up to, like, I think I came back through the bead and back across for the other doll that I made, and that just makes it a little bit less secure and a little bit more, if this gets pulled on a little bit, it's not going to come off. Okay, so there she, look at this, look at how much character our little doll has. She's very cute. She is very cute indeed. Okay, so we just have one more arm to go on here, and then she's done. Can put that on. We go in one hole. Okay, bring that all the way down, and then go through. All right, I'm trying to keep this all very tight so that I don't have a problem. When I pull it tight, it's not loose anywhere. There she goes. She looks like she wants to give us a big hug. Okay, and so now we just have to make a couple of little rolls, and I usually like to start near the end and turn it, and you come back in and turn it again as far as you can. Okay, and then we're just going to put that right back down into the bead, and she is done. And I mean, you could tie some more ribbon around her. Could be very cute to have a little tie, little ribbon like this. I think might go. Or this might go, let's put this one, I like the purple in this. And so I'm just going to tie a ribbon on here around her neck like she has a little bow on. And you can decorate her however you want, and it's just really fun to make these. They're just really kind of fun and creative, and you can use the beads, and you can use whatever other little bits and bobs you have on here to kind of make these. Maybe we'll give her a little scarf. maybe she has a little bit of a scarf going on. You could probably figure out how to give her maybe a cowl and go around. I like that. It looks like she has a little scarf on. Okay. And I'm just tying this on as a loose knot. And you can put a little glue on there if you think it's going to fall off. But I think I'm just going to leave mine the way it is. Because I think the knot is going to work just fine. Tuck it under her little bead collar. There you go, guys. What do you think? She is fun, and they are fun, and they have their own little personalities. They do. So that is how you make a bead person. And again, you can put her on one of the bulb pins and just hang them on the spine of your journal, like I've done here with this one. And this is just a fabric spine, and I've just put it on there. You could put another, like if you have another book and you wanted to put an attachment place on a hardcover spine, you could do that too. And you could add more ribbons and things, and this would be look really good if you had more ribbons and things tied on there. So I'm just having fun here decorating my journals and making little bead people tonight, and I hope you love these. These are so cute and fun, and if you do make paper beads, this is one of the things you can do with them. Lots of things you can do with paper beads. So make some beads, dangles for your journals. You could probably also keep one of these on your keychain, and have lots of fun making them. They're just so much fun to make, these little dangly bead people, and they dance and they are just fun. You can get them as gifts. Put them on a bookmark, up at the top of a bookmark. Anyway, lots of things. Sky's the limit. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button. I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. It is really a great way to support your favorite YouTube channels, because it's just really important for us creators to continue to be able to create, to be able to get those subs. Look at our little girl there. You can make clothes for them like this. I mean, how fun is that? She's just got this scarf. Use up your ribbons, use up your buttons, make some little people. They can cheer you on while you're crafting. She's like a little cheerleader. Anyway, have her sit there. Okay, she can be our little mascot here. Keep them as a mascot in your crafting desk. I'm gonna say goodbye, so you don't have to watch me clean off my desk. It will be cleaned off by the next time you come back. Thanks for coming by today and having fun with me here at Scrapcraft and Stitchery. And until next time, stitch scrappily and scrap happily, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.